What's up, everyone? So, for this month's GK Banago vlog, our content will be focusing more on the planning aspect in preparation for our three-part program for our community this coming February and March. We'll first start with our visit to the Barangay Banago Hall to coordinate with the LGU there for their assistance in our events. Afterwards, we'll be discussing our problem analysis and our strategies for our community.
Bale, sir, ma-plan kami pala tani, kay for amon na sa GK pala, sa daling sa Banago. Ang plan tani namon is i-continue ang previous na year na ginhimo para ilang pa is hypertension, kasi continue lang na, and then i-reinforce lang pala and ma-add pa ng like prevention and for hypertension since ila man na first na problem actually sa community is hypertension man ang control man. So mo na lang ang mga plans sir. Then ang amon tani na ikwan sa barangay is ngayon kung tani assist for duwa ka pilod ng helpers na makadala sa amin.
Sino gusto nyo ma-assess sa inyo? Tanod o kung
Bali BHW.
BHW? Gusto mo nang magiging patinghaw, hindi kita nang hindi. May mga BHW kita nang hindi sila.
Ano naman man sir is para after man bala kung wala na kami, pag hindi na kami magbalik, at least makatap sila sa day lang sa barangay.
Oo, sige ba, nakamamis nga, parang importante na yun lang ating relationship na all is well after. Wala, no? Sige. But then, ilang mag-provide tayo connector for this year naman yung continuity sa inyong program.
Bali sir ng proposal lang.
Proposal.
And then kinanglan ng
Not necessary, o rin naging sa to the same letter that we had last time. Continuity na lang sa sina. At least for this year naman ang program.
Okay, sige.
Kaya parang siyempre sa atin may mga profile.
Pag-ibili sir Mira, kami ang advice sa doktor ng mga advisor. Ang mabali sa mon is ng sami gurong na ang amon nga findings sa GK ng community, especially with consumer health, i-hand over na mon man ba.
Actually, may muwa kita sa Lasal. Whatever, mali yung inyong choices siya, din namin i-embrace yung namin. May muwa tayo mo. So the only thing na nina-concerns ko sa inyo, by professional practices natin, at least maanibig niya may mga certain area galing in different approach, in different, it's not about culture, pero lain-lain lang ang mga pattern of approaches na kinananon in a certain community. Okay, because of their, of course, lifestyle, ang ilang mga earnings nila, mga way of living, so lang natin. So, those vulnerable sectors, hindi pa din consider sila vulnerable. Kaya
Some files. Hindi kami sure kung hindi na muna siya ihatag sa health center na yan.
Pwede furnish ka lang yung example.
Inyon sa inyo
Kaya para malabi naman, kasi sa amin sa second eye, with a certain studies na naman, with your recommendations, malabi naman sa council for those health concerns, not particularly on that area alone, pero kay iba na pagiging affected area. Kaya mo lang yung ang pinakadamos ang iba na affected.
Bagay barangay po, officer namin.
Isang palagay ito yung turok may mga area. Kaya mas control nyo. Kaya happy at hindi a great appreciation in your end nga sa inyong early career ni Choose Bagay Banago, and pretty sure sa inyong in future makaka-share dito mo sa daras ng inyong patient.
Hello guys, we are the group assigned in GK Banago, and we would like to briefly discuss about our community's priority problem, which we have identified through our analysis, as well as details regarding our project or action plan to address our identified problem and how we can sustain this project.
In GK Banago, hypertension has emerged as a significant non-communicable disease that affects many individuals, leading to serious health complications if left unmanaged. We believe that it is crucial to understand the underlying factors contributing to the prevalence of hypertension. To identify these root causes, we will employ the 5 whys analysis framework.
So, I'll be talking about problem analysis as to why we have developed said program or why we plan to develop the programs that we plan to develop. So, from our observations in our survey, we were able to note that there is a high prevalence of non-communicable diseases in GK Banago. These include hypertension, thyroid diseases, as well as other rare others like depression and all. But we'll get more on that later. So, among this high prevalence of communicable diseases, we were able to note that there is a lack of awareness about these risk factors and the prevention. And this might be attributable to the limited access to health education and information that inhabitants have. So the fact that, for example, hypertension, talk about hypertension again. So there is a lack of awareness about hypertension, which can be attributed to the limited access to health education. There's not enough material, not enough people are going there to talk about hypertension in the first place. So the inhabitants, and the people living there, are unaware. So among these three problems that contribute to limited health education include the insufficient health programs, general low health literacy among the residents, as well as limited access to healthcare facilities. You're also able to note that some of them would go to a private doctor for consultation rather than go to the actual hospital itself because they mentioned that hospital is a bit far. But we were also able to note that under insufficient health programs and initiatives, three factors might contribute to that, which includes the prioritization of other health issues. So most of the people going there for assistance actually would focus more on diseases such as tuberculosis, but hypertension might not be included in those diseases. Ineffective communication and dissemination. There are times that there were previous educational visits to the area, however, the information simply didn't get spread wide enough. And there might be lack of resources and funding allocated for non-communicable diseases. So our program is to target these aspects that contribute to the rise of non-communicable diseases.
For our problem analysis, the team identified the top 5 health problems of GK Banago from the data collected. So we have factored in 4 criteria for our prioritization matrix, where it consists of the magnitude of the problem, the urgency of the problem, and resource availability and feasibility of it being solved. So for our magnitude of the problem, which comprises 30% of our matrix, we have elicited medical conditions of individual household members, categorizing it into non-infectious and infectious, with a total of non-infectious being 84.7% of the 55 interviewed households. And for the non-infectious, the highest frequency, which is hypertension, with a percentage of 52.2%. For the urgency of the problem, since mortality and morbidity was not obtained, but we assessed the urgency from the incidents and also from the community itself. So for resource availability, which comprises 30% of the matrix, so we assess if there are resources available to tackle the problem. So we assess that there is a clinic available within the GK. We have a BP apparatus also within the community and a health facility within the barangay, which is less than 5 kilometers away from the GK. So we assess that these resources are more suitable for hypertension other than the different health issues that the community is facing. So for the feasibility of being solved, which comprises 10%, so how easy or difficult is it to implement solutions for the problem? So we consider hypertension to be more feasible since involving the community, we also have to put in their input. And we have agreed that hypertension is low and should be prioritized. And also since the allocation or the availability of resources within the community are pretty high, so we have your BP apparatus, somehow the knowledge of how to use the BP apparatus, they also have a health facility, and it was easier for also the barangay health workers to be able to be available to us and to help us in the GK.
Now that we have identified, analyzed, and prioritized which of the problems we will be focusing on, we now proceed to the project. So for the project, we have 2 parts which our group and the community has agreed upon. The first one is a blood pressure refresher course, and the second is a culminating activity. So the BP refresher course will consist of 2 days and also a pre-test and a post-test. So the pre-test will check on their prior knowledge and skills on how to take blood pressure. And the post-test will check if they have learned something from the workshop and from the lectures that our group will be giving out to them. So hopefully this will improve their skills and understand the do's and don'ts of blood pressure taking. The next part of the project is the culminating activity, wherein this will consist of different activities. The first one is the hypertension awareness lecture. So this will include everything about the knowledge on hypertension and its causes, consequences, how to prevent hypertension, and what to do if there is someone with hypertension. And this will also support their knowledge on the blood pressure taking course and will also debunk what they used to know about hypertension that is not quite right. Now, the second part of the culminating activity is the kit distribution. So our group will be giving out BP apparatus and stethoscopes for them to use in their local community and their local clinics. The next is the establishment of the GK HSG, or the GK Hypertension Support Group. Now, this is something that our group has uniquely planned, since a hypertension support group will consist of 5 volunteers, excluding the community leader. Now, these 5 volunteers will be the ones heading their different blood pressure screening days, and they are the ones who will be the head of the community in terms of blood pressure, blood pressure taking, hypertension knowledge, and also those that will be the head of the community in terms of taking care of the kits that we have given out. They are also the ones that will pass to the next generation of hypertension support group volunteers as well. Now, the blood pressure screening days will be also established during the culminating activity, wherein after everything that we have done, the lectures and the workshops, pre-test, post-test, and distribution of kits, the blood pressure screening days will now be done by the community themselves, headed by the GKHSG. So we hope that after our culminating activity, the community would be able to use the knowledge that they have gained from our lectures and sustain these programs with continuity during May. So May is the Hypertension Awareness Month, and we hope that every year or every month they would be able to conduct blood pressure screening and would take note of the blood pressure of the people in their community, so that in that way this project would be sustainable and would help them lower their incidence of hypertension.
Therefore, as part of our sustainability project, a focal person will lead the community in partnership with the barangay health workers and the hypertension support group in checking blood pressure once a month, and a yearly program for this project, encouraging healthy living and preventing hypertension.
So, just a quick status report or a quick recap of the things we've accomplished and the things that we're about to accomplish in the next coming weeks. First, we've already conducted a meeting with the GK head and the stakeholders. So that includes the Barangay Banago officers and officials. And we've already sent out our formal letters about the target dates we have, as well as the content of our seminars and projects in the next coming weeks, next coming Saturdays. For the things that we're about to accomplish, first we have to prepare our resources for the seminar. Next is the implementation, which is basically the project proper itself. And lastly, we would still be doing our follow-up after the implementation. Basically, the follow-up would tell us if we did a good job of informing and educating the people in GK Banago, or basically telling us if our project was a success and our objectives were completed.